Maraming beses na kitang nilayasan, iniwanan at ibang pinuntahan. Parang babaeng ang hirap talagang malimutan. Ikaw lamang ang aking laging pinabalikan.
The 1960s to the early years of the 70s were eventful years. In 1965, President Ferdinand Marcos was elected as the 6th President of the Third Philippine Republic. His first term saw successful achievements. Thus, he was the only president re-elected for the second term. However, the second term was badly affected by the world oil crisis and the chain reaction from this crisis, such as the rising prices of commodities, which greatly affected the population then. Mass layoffs of workers and employees, dirty politics, graft and corruption, and many more. Who would forget the Battle of Mendiola in 1970 and the Plaza Miranda bombing in 1971? To save the Republic from these pressing problems, Marcos declared martial law on September 21, 1972, to the shock of the first mid-decade population census recorded people of 42,070,660. The 70s was tempered, though, with the visit of His Holiness Pope Paul VI in 1970. In IHMC grounds, these were eventful and happy years too. International visitors came to make each year memorable. The little nun with a big heart, Sister Mary Basil Rourke, came to the Philippines in 1967. And in 1971, His Most Honored Father James Richardson, C.M., the Superior General of the Daughters of Charity, arrived for a visit from Rome, and also Sister Hilda Gleason, D.C., Counselor General of the D.C., also came to see the Sisters of the Philippine Province in that same year. Like the visit of His Holiness Pope Paul VI to the Philippines in 1971, IHMC was also blessed twice by the visit of the traveling Our Lady of Fatima in 1968 and in 1970. Immaculate Heart of Mary College is founded on solid grounds. She stands as a symbol of untiring efforts and patient prayers through the long years. As a Catholic institution that seeks the fourfold development of the whole person with a preferential love for the poor. From its founding day until the present, IHMC has been true to her commitment of giving love and service to the less privileged through her community extension service program and the different religious organizations like the Luisas, the Luisitas, and the Children of Mary. The Feast of St. Vincent de Paul in September 27 and the Feast of St. Louis de Marillac in March 15 are happy feasts celebrated with the poor, like what the two founders have exemplified. IHMC shares with the poor the banquet of the Lord. The Philippines in this decade was more soil than. Trees and plants abound even in urban areas. Thus, different species like the dragonflies or tutubing kalabaw and karayom, grasshoppers and salagubang are everywhere. In sports, this decade was the golden year of the rivalry between Crispa and Toyota. Ali and Fraser fought at the Araneta Coliseum, dubbed as Thrilla in Manila. The Filipinos' love for music then saw the golden years and the best OPM. Pinoy songs were highly appreciated then, be it rock, pop, disco, or love songs. Remember the local version of Bee Gees Through the Boyfriends? The Village People by the Hagibis. And not to be left behind are the legendary rock groups like Juan de la Cruz Band and the Hot Dogs, as well as VST and Company, Asin, and the Apo Hiking Society.